Good morning, dear Stitchers. It's Judy Whitman with JBW Designs, and I'm welcoming you once again into my studio. I tried to get another view of the studio. I turned the computer screen around, and I am having a devil of a time with light. So I'm hoping this won't be too awful when it's all done, because we've got light coming in the windows, and so we'll see how it goes. It is a beautiful spring day here. Michigan is a funny place for weather. Last week, one morning, it was 42 degrees. Today, it's supposed to be something like 85. So it's wonderful because finally we can start working in the garden, which is great news. So I wanted to tell you about a couple comments from last week. One person who wrote wanted to know if all of my designs are in full cross stitch, and yes, they are. I don't use any half stitches, partial stitches in any of the designs, so that makes it easy if you're working on Aida rather than linen. And then I had a very interesting call this week. Actually, it wasn't on the comment page, but I thought it was so sweet, from a woman in Montreal who has been stitching my designs for years. And she wanted to know if I was French. And I said, no, I want to be French, but I'm not French at all. Maybe in my former life, I don't know. And I don't speak the language, but I love everything French. So she was very curious as to how I got going on this. I also want to recognize and give a shout out to several floss tubers who have been mentioning my company or my designs. And so I give a big thank you to them. I will try to list them in my notes below. I'll try to get better at doing that. But I wanted to recognize Lori of Mischievous Stitches, and Brenda and Laura of Brenda and the Serial Starter, Kim of the Contented Stitcher, and then the last one is Jerry of Yankee Creek Stitcher. And I'm going to encourage you to go to her floss tube. It was one of her last one or two, because she did a model of the Antique Rooster sampler, which was just gorgeous. So it was very inspiring to see that. And so her showing of that inspired me to have a theme for today. So the theme is going to be birds of a feather. So we'll get to that in just a few minutes. So I wanted to first show you some of the finishes that I've been working on since the last video. And I kind of gave you, I'm going to move my stool over here, I kind of gave you a few peeks at what I was doing about designs that are coming out. As you know, I'm going to do summer in the round and fall in the round. And I had a question about this finish, which I showed last week, and I talked about the pieces of glass. So it's so simple. You just open it and you slide the glass out, and you can put scrapbook paper between those panes of glass so that you have a background. And then I switched out this, actually I had not put on this in this frame, so I switched that out and finished the summer one. And then of course, let's see, I think you saw this last week, I did it in the small round frame. And then I decided to go ahead and I have many models of this, to go ahead and use the bowl of shells for the third model of that. So then another thing that I worked on last week, and this was underway, was the fall in the round. So I had finished stitching that. I put this into a little round frame also. You can kind of see what it looks like. And then I wanted to tell you a little bit about my box. So I am not a professional finisher, but I like to give you all ideas of how to finish your work. So my professional finisher did the rabbits for me, and I liked the way that she did that with a paper mache box. So I tried it with the fall in the round, and I'll give you a few hints about how I did it, because it was an experiment. I'd never done it before. So the big thing was how to cover the paper mache box with fabric. So I bought a spray adhesive, and I and I cut the fabric. I cut two pieces. One, the exact, let me see if I can get the lid off here, the exact height of the box, and also another one for the exact height of the rim of the lid. And then I sprayed the box, not the fabric, and then kind of rolled my box over the fabric. It's a little tricky to get out all the little wrinkles. I still have a little, well, maybe it's disappeared now, but I had a little wrinkle right in here. And I think actually if I took iron with a cloth over it, I'd probably be able to smooth that out. So then I just cut out a simple shape of a pumpkin to go with our fall theme. And on the top, I just mounted it as a flat finish and finished it with cording. And then I added a little piece of ribbon and some little berries. And then I like to do things on the inside. So I charted a little turkey and put the little turkey on the inside of the fall. Let me get this up here. The fall in the round. So I'm hoping that that will come out with the summer one in June. That's my goal. So those are things that I worked on last week. And then I also had a couple of framed pieces, and those are actually at the local framer. So I'm not going to tackle that one. I wanted to tell you before I show you models today about two very exciting cross-stitch events that are being held this year. They weren't last year, but they're now open, that are open to the public. It's not a wholesale cross-stitch show. It is for anyone. And you may know about these, but I think it's worth talking about just in case you think you'd like to go this year or next year. So one of them is called Stitch Con. So it's STITCH-con, C-O-N. And if you want to go to their website, add a COM to that address. I'll show you right here on my list here. And this is a very interesting event. And I'm going to read to you their description because it's so perfect. StitchCon is a floss tubers and fans cross-stitch retreat that highlights the floss tube community, both video creators and viewers alike. So there will be people there who make floss tube videos and then just, tons of stitchers. And I'll tell you about that. The event is held in Cincinnati, Ohio at the Sharonville Convention Center. And this is hosted by Keepsakes, which is the local needlework shop in Cincinnati owned by Barbara Hills. And this event is not new. It was held, I think, at least one or two other years. It is on two separate weekends in June, the June 10th through the 13th, and then June 17th through the 20th. And I don't know if there are still openings. It's a huge event. They have room for up to 300 stitchers each weekend. And, it's just a wonderful way for people to meet other stitchers. I've been reading the comments on their page. People are so excited about it. And my participation, I will not be there, I'm sorry to say, in person, but I just packed a huge trunk show because Barbara sets up trunk shows from many, many different companies so that the participants can come in and shop. And so that was kind of fun. I think I have almost 35 models in stock that I sent to that. So that's one of the events that you might be interested in. The second one is called Needlework Galleria. And I am participating in that one. And if you haven't heard about it, it's so much fun. So let me tell you a little bit about that. That is put on by a shop in Illinois called Inspired Needle. And this is her address, and there is the website for you to go to. So it's needleworkgalleria.com, so you can read all the details of what she's doing. I don't think she has posted yet all the exhibitors, but hopefully she'll be doing that soon. So Kathy at Inspired Needle is the founder of Needlework Galleria, and that show is so much fun. It is held in an Embassy Suites hotel. And if you can picture one whole floor of the hotel, each room is a separate exhibitor. And there's quite a variety of people who exhibit at this show. There are other shops who are exhibiting. There are designers like myself. There are fabric companies, fiber companies, companies that make wood products. It's just great. And you know, if you don't have a shop in your area and you've just been dying to see things in person, this is a great opportunity for you. Classes are offered at this show. I'll be teaching a class. They also offer round robins, which are real quick little, usually Christmas designs that are fun to participate in. So I'll encourage you to do some research on that. So those are my two events that are going on. So now today I want to talk to you about the birds. When I started thinking about what started it was the Antique Rooster. So when I started thinking about how many designs that I have birds on, it was kind of funny because it wasn't intentional. It's just happened, right? So the first one I want to share with you is the one I talked about that was so beautifully finished. I'll tell you about the finish that she did. She took this design and she mounted it on a wood shutter, but rather than the shutter going vertically, the shutter goes horizontally, just like the design does. So it was just a stunning finish. She mounted it on like a red check that was set on the diagonal. It was just striking. But I can show you my model, which I still like. I did this a number of years ago. And this is what Antique Rooster sampler looks like. And it really, I'm trying to get it so the light is good. It really is kind of a cousin to the rabbit sampler that I showed you last week because it uses motifs from antique samplers. It uses buttons. You can use antique buttons in it. And of course, an alphabet, which I always love including. So that is, which way to go, right? Which way so the light is good. So that is Antique Rooster sampler. That's one of the designs I wanted to share with you today. Another one on the same theme, and this too was designed a while ago. Let me grab the book here. So this is a French country rooster. And of course, like all the French country designs, he is made up of many motifs that would go with a rooster. So there are chickens in there, and turkeys, and apples, and little chicks, etc. So that was a fun one to do. You can see I finished it with a 12 fabric on the back. If you ever see my Velcro, those are used for display. So this would be an easy one to finish because it's just a flat finish with cording. I might have to take a drink of water. I'm losing my voice. And this is what the Antique Rooster sampler book looks like. So you can see that one. So then moving along with our theme, I have quite a few French country designs that fall into the category of baby products that you could use for a friend who's having a baby. And this one, I've worked actually both in blue for boys and pink for girls, and it's the French country stork. And that one, that little book, let's see if I can hold that up. So this is the book for that. Just finished as a flat. This has the chenille cording along the edges. I can see my light is getting very, very strange. And this is the booklet for that one. Let's see the little stork. Another one that falls into the baby category for a baby gift is one that is called French Country Ducklings. And this too was a fun one to design. I have a mama duck with two baby ducks. And then I decided that I could take this design and just work the mama. And that could also be, you could have the baby's name and date on this to make it for a gift. Or you could use the quack quack words. So this is the booklet for French Country Ducklings. And then wait till you see this finish. It's so exquisite. So this was just the single duck stitched with a baby's name. And in this case, it was my grandson, Liam. He wasn't born in 2017, so Liam, I just used your name, but changed the date because this is a fairly recent design. And the finishing is exquisite. She mounted it on wool. She used a lace trim around the edge here. And then she made flowers out of a felt kind of fabric, and just cut them in different shapes and secured them with pins. So the finish on that, I always love to show that because it's so, so unique. So that continues with our little theme here. And then I have two more models to show you in this line, and then I'll talk about two other designs. So another design that came out fairly recently was called French Country Swans. And I actually pictured this more as a wedding design. So you could think about doing that. I think I stitched it over one on red. I forgot to get that model out. But this is the model that was stitched over two. And again, I think this would make just a beautiful wedding sampler. You could add names and dates, etc. This was mounted on a flat board with a lining on it. I don't know why that number is on the back. It must have been from another trunk show. And then you can see up close, you can see the cording that's been put around the edge. So that is French Country Swans. Here's the book. Let's see if it shows the red design on the inside here. Ah, it does. And I did add dates. So here's the design worked in red with names and dates and finished as a heart. So we have another finishing suggestion for you. So I found three other, here's one more model to show you. You know, I always talk to you about my Friends of JBW Designs Facebook page. And if you go to that and join, usually every 2 weeks, just like the videos, I post a couple of designs and I ask the viewers to choose their favorite. And it's so much fun to read the comments. People are avid about their choice, and they write the cutest notes about why they chose it and what it means to them. So this week, Birds and Berries was one of the designs that was featured. And this was featured along with, I'm trying to think of what the other one was. Oh, the Rose Motif Sampler was the other one. And so you can see, this doesn't have many birds in it, just the two little in the center. But since so many people love red samplers lately, this seems to have had a resurgence in popularity. And let's see, and this is what the book looks like for Birds and Berries. So it's Birds and Berries Antique Alphabet with a cute little border on it. And then the last two titles that fall into our category, and I don't have the models for them, are French Country Crow, which I think you might have seen before in an earlier video that I did way last fall when I started out, and I showed all kinds of Halloween designs. And this little guy has a squirrel and a bird and a kitty cat and a pumpkin and an acorn all squeezed into that little design. And then the other one actually that has been out a long time. Let's look at the date. It's 2009. Which I still love. It's called the French Hen. And I think it would look so cute in kitchen decor. And you could choose all kinds of colors for this one too. So you can see what my little French hen looks like. So that is the end of the Birds of a Feather theme for today. But I had a couple more things that I wanted to tell you about. I wanted to tell you about what I've been working on. I finished a Christmas design, and I have never done a drum finish, which are very popular right now. So I sent this design off to my professional finisher to finish as a drum. I can't wait to see what it looks like when it gets back. I'm going to stitch the model again. You should see my stitching bag. I have so many projects in it. I hope I have enough time to finish them all. I'm going to finish that Christmas design as a drum, as also as a flat piece, so that you can see what the whole design looks like. Some people are intimidated by the drum finish. I've also just finished designing. I'll show you what this looks like. Another Christmas design. I know it seems early, but the next set of releases after June will be probably August. So we have to work months and months ahead of time, even though Christmas is months and months away. So I've started a design on this polka dot fabric. It's a 32 count linen. It's from Zweigart. It's called Petit Point Raw White. So it's a little tricky to work on, but I love how it looks because it's kind of like snowflakes in the background. The polka dots are actually printed on the fabric, so it doesn't go through. So there are times when you have to almost take your needle and pierce that little dot of paint to get in through the thread. But I just love how it turned out. So that's a little hint of something that's coming. I just yesterday designed a new stocking for the sing-along series. I'm not going to tell you, I've just started stitching on that one last night. And then I've also been charting more of my red samplers. So that's really fun to do. Let's see, what else can I tell you today? Our Mother's Day was wonderful. That was a couple weeks ago. I feel so badly because I know there are people who don't have family, who are still in lockdown, who can't be together. And my heart really goes out to you because I know that probably is a difficult time for you. But that was our first time together as for a whole family in probably 14, 15 months. It was so much fun. We had so many laughs. There's a lot of teasing going on, which is always good. The other thing I've been doing is working in the yard. Last weekend we cleaned the porch because and got the furniture out for that. So hopefully this weekend, next couple nights, since it's going to be warm, we'll be able to eat out there, which we absolutely love. So my last couple notes are about your shops. We really need to support our locally owned, independently owned needlework shops. They are working as hard as they can to get supplies. The supply chains are cut down, are backlogged rather. They're working as hard as they can to get fabrics and fibers. And I've mentioned this before. So the big thing that they tell me is please be patient because they want your business. They need your business to keep going, but they might not be able to ship it immediately. So I'm sure you all have lots of stuff to work on, but support your shops. If you don't have a local shop, find one that's in your region. Just give them a call or go on their website. I really think it would mean a lot to them. I do have an Instagram account. It is not under JBW. It's actually under Judy Whitman, my name. So you'll have to check that out. I try to post fairly regularly on that. Please ask questions. I love to find out what you're curious about or a certain design you're working on. That's what the Friends page is for. People post things they've been working on with different colors and fibers, so that's always good. Think about subscribing if you're interested, and thank you so much for watching. You have so many choices, and I'm so appreciative of your taking the time to watch JBW. So have a good week. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.